Just trying to set my camera. Go ahead with this broadcast. Okay, morning, my dear friends out there in social media world. I'm on Liberia. Like I promised, that between now and 2023, I will be on a very explosive adventure of disclosure of various events that have led to our nation being a country that started with blood, and up till now, up to 175 years, is still bloody. So this morning, I'll be on a disclosure. Hang on, I'll answer my call. Good morning. Hello? Yeah. Where? Okay, get ready. I'm outside here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we're on disclosure, right? So this morning I'll be talking about the split with the PRC government involving Charles Taylor and Thomas Gankama-Quiwonkpa. The in-depth what happened, because a lot of people they didn't know, but people who are in the system, certain people was very close to that, and maybe one of these days Taylor book come or it will be in it. But I try my possible best to give information as much as I know. When the coup took place, 1980, there were there were a couple of influential former Liberian politicians, Matthew, Amos Sawyer, Chipotle, all of these guys, and the two permanent people that were very famous and active the early days of the coup was Matthew, George Bulley, Charles Taylor, and Quiwonkpa. Charles Taylor was in charge of the General Services Agency of the Republic of Liberia, which is GSA, that responsible for government procurement. And then Thomas Gankama-Quiwonkpa became Commanding General of the Army. But Taylor and Quiwonkpa they was married to two sisters. So that's what brought that intimacy that between them. So they knew each other long before the coup took place. So how did the split take place? How Taylor left? So when the coup took place, there were several demands made by the People Redemption Council for members of the 17 members of the People Redemption Council. The first demand they made was a vehicle for the PPRC members, which was Honda Civic. They supplied them with, each of them with a Honda Civic. It was kind of the latest first set of generation of Honda that came up. Honda Civic with hatchback. So to fast track, the second demand they made was a Renault 30 vehicles, Renault's French-made vehicles. During those days, it was very classical, vehicle at the time when it came out, very fast. But they have different number. But the Renault 30 was the biggest of that generation of Renault. So they demanded for each of the PPRC member, apart from the Honda Civic, they wanted 30. They wanted to be supplied with Renault 30. Again, the government to Charles Taylor at GSA, they purchased the Renault 30 vehicles for each one of them. So by then, the government, there was a lot of tension brewing within the PPRC government. So Quiwonkpa and Taylor was teamed up on one side in the various meetings that they went to, which were very intensive meetings that they went to. Semedo put in for 2 limousines that where Quiwonkpa came in and said, no, we'll not allow you to ride those vehicles because we just overthrew and killed 13 of the former government officials for corruption. So very at the early stage, we're making all of the demand. They're going to hunt us. So he and Taylor on one side saying that they're going to hunt us. So they will say you're going to ride, and at the time, Quiwonkpa said that do not ride. If don't ride, get in those limousine, you're going to open fire on it. You're going to order his men to open fire on it. That was where the tension started from. If some of you who listening to this recording, if you can remember when that coup took place, there were 2 limousines parking in front of GSA. You know, GSA is where almost kind of adjacent to Samuel Strecker Funeral Home at Embassement Point. Right opposite there was GSA. There where they had GSA compound. If you can remember, some of you older people, our generation, if you can remember, those cars were parking in front of them and they put tarpaulin over them. After a certain time, they disappeared from there because Quiwonkpa said he was not going to ride because it was too early for that. So the tension started. Then fast track, they went to another meeting, and then the idea came that, the fear came that they won't stay long in government. And the issue of Taylor and Quiwonkpa, the one that started the issue of turning the government over to surveillance rule early. Because all of the demands, because they may have met and said, look, we got to put pressure that so contain the country over. Other than that, will not be able. That's what Taylor said. Other than that, will not be able to live in our own country because the trend away how things going. So we got to hurry. Also, Taylor then start demanding for early election to turn the country over because there were too many demands that were haunted them. That's where the tension started with Taylor. So they said, okay, since that's the case to turn it over, you have to open international account for each member of the PRC government, huge amount of money. And then apart from that, they should build houses for each of the PRC member as a way of turning the country over. Then what happened in between there, the 2 companions, Taylor and Quiwonkpa, I don't know the in-depth or what in the go, but based on my own analysis, I think they partially agree for Taylor to go and do the deposit. Then when they come back, they're going to begin building the houses. So when Taylor took the money with intention, I want to be corrected on this. Anybody who know the true story, why you know part of the story, why I'm explaining it, let me know. And then Taylor left the country. After a certain time, Taylor wrote door and said he was sick, he want to take medical checkup, he can't come back. Then the tension started. The Liberian government, through Jenkins Scott, who was just the minister at the time, went to America to put charges against Charles Taylor for corruption. So the American government, with the treaty between they and Liberia, because America and Liberia got a treaty, defense pact. Anybody attack, any country attack Liberia, and America can come in. And Liberia can also go in when America is attacked. So that the defense pact that between Liberia and America. So obviously, and they got the economic pact too. So based on that, Taylor was grabbed and placed in maximum prison in America on charges. And though they wanted Taylor deported to Liberia, and there where the sticking point came, Taylor got a lawyer. At that time, Taylor's lawyer was, what the guy name? Some Ramsey. I forgot his first name. Ramsey became Charles Taylor, a lawyer in charge of the case. So Ramsey Clark was Charles Taylor lawyer in that case. And then the case went on. Taylor did not come. And then the issue started because when Taylor left, the idea was for Quiwonkpa to leave the country. So that when the first attempt started on Quiwonkpa, there was a military ruffle in the barrier. when and Quiwonkpa, the first time it happened, it stopped. Then all of a sudden, Quiwonkpa disappeared from Liberia. So, how did I get to know this information? When the war took place, I was living on 12th Street. On 12th Street. And there was a girl who was renting because the owner of the house turned the house over to me, in charge, not to pay rent, but I should collect rent. So I became semi-landlord. So there was a lady that was renting for me. I won't call name. The boyfriend of that lady was working in the SSS. And when the war got intensive, when everything started, when Taylor, they were coming, the rebels attacked everything, this guy was bringing some letters, some very pertinent letters that were in Doe office. He used to bring those letters. When he bring it, the girl will show to me, and I will read it. And I read the letter. Charles Taylor wrote Samuel Doe on several complaints, especially when they did the charge against him. Taylor explained to him that, okay, I did take an excuse to come, and whatever you charge me for is not true. And Taylor, in that letter, Taylor explained several old letters. But there was no way that I could have kept those letters, and maybe that God just made it that I didn't take them because I could have been killed for it when I crossed the God. Those letters, I read them. That's how I got to know some of the argument. So that money, it was not Taylor J. Investor. That money was the money that's they're supposed to open an account for the PRC government. And Taylor decided to stay. And he met Quiwonkpa. Also, there was a raffle, and then again, after Quiwonkpa disappeared from Liberia, until November 12, he appeared in Liberia, where he got killed in the process. So that's an in-depth or all of that crisis that started. But the young generation, you don't know that story. If you don't hear from me, apart from what I know, that those letters that guy was bringing from the mansion, that's how I was reading those letters, and I got some of this information that I was writing, because Taylor was trying to defend himself. He was trying to tell the government, because there was too much demand was made, in a young government where they had just killed people for corruption. So when you hear Taylor went to jail today, and that's where it came from. The issue of how he left jail to come, that one I don't know, but Taylor said one of his speech I listened to, he said how he got out of jail and everything will come in his memoir. And I'm waiting for that book one day. And listen to me keenly for what I just explained. When the Taylor book come up, let's see if some of what I said in it. But those letters, I saw the letters from the mansion. The guys used to bring it to the girlfriend house, and then when he tell about it, she gave it to me and I will read it. Several letters, I think 4 or 5 or 6. All the letters that Taylor was writing, telling Doe what was going on, and the reason why he decided not to return to the country and all these things. And so I think he pinched his guy, General, to leave. And we know Quiwonkpa disappeared from the country. And when he appeared with November 12th. When he took over Doe, he arrested Doe, and the whole thing was swapped, the whole coup attempt swapped around. So you people turning around in Liberia, that the young generation, you're talking about president, everybody want to be represented, senators, all that kind of thing. There are people who got a academic credential to become senator among the group, but the majority just have money. I don't know how come they came up with that kind of money to pay senators according to the American structure, pay structure in that kind of poor country. So that's what's going on with your nation. So I'm Brother Isaac Yoyo, your online evangelist. I do both preaching the gospel and revealing political issues that happen because the people, young generation, need to know some of these stories. Some of these stories that took place for the country and what got the country where it is today. A brain drain because they killed a man who wanted to educate the indigenous Liberian and bring peace between the American Liberian and the indigenous people, and he was murdered by the same indigenous people mixed up with this a couple of the American Liberian that were trying to gain political power in Liberia. So thank you for listening, and keep tuning in. I will post this video and then read it and then see. If you want to make research, talk, but there are people who will listen to the video and know exactly what I'm talking about. Those letters came from in strictly in Dole office. That guy was bringing it, but I think he's dead now. I can't call his name. I can't call the girlfriend name. She's still around in Liberia, and he's dead. I heard that he's died. So, have a blessed day. This is a Disclosure Liberia 175. Disclosure Liberia 175. 175 years of conflict and bloodshed. So, you need to know what happened to your nation so you can know how to fix it. Because if you don't know your house leaking, you'll never fix a roof. If you don't know that there's termite or bugger ball, Liberian people call it termite, we call it termite, but Liberian people call it bugger ball. If you know that bugger ball is undermining your foundation, you will find DDC to put it or find something to kill the termites. Other than that, sooner or later, when the first storm comes, you'll find that your whole house breaking down on you and your family. Thank you and have a blessed day.